Good day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers. Today's video is a theory little Miss Ivy and I would love for you to vet for us. We call it the Ivy Scribey Spirit of Competition Has a Big Mouth Theory. See, what had happened was, it appears mind you, Alexander the Great was not of ancient Macedonian blood. It seems mind you, his great-granddad was the commander of a new and fresh armada, and with textbook form and the epitome of synonymous wording, pulled off the smoothest case of Ponce, play, become, and destroy the world has ever seen. Guess what? It wasn't a secret either. Everybody knew about the switch at the time. Let me give you the backstory to perceive the evidence. Spoiler alert. History equates the actions of two totally different and distinct people as though they were one person. See, what had happened was, there was a king of Macedonia by the name of Alexander who was a vassal, or according to Herodotus, a good flunky to Darius, the king of Persia, and his son Xerxes. Here's where the synonymous wording part comes in. True to form, just before the two wars between Persia and Greece, a new armada of clones were released into the wild, and the commander synonymously took on the name Alexander and was being taught how to be human, a Greek, and govern, at his own expense, mind you, in Athens. Well, after a Persian defeat and Persian retreat, the fake Alexander and his Shasu sprung into action and killed most of the retreating Persian forces. In honor of this feat, he was given a deceiving synonymous title to hide himself in history. But like the theory title implies, loose lips starts talking when their feelings are hurt. Again, modern historians have no clue what the information they are giving us truly means. In this case to mean, they chronically attribute the actions of two different people as the same person. But because my God will not leave the chosen stupid, we have the code to perceive the differences in the two. I want to start off talking about the real Alexander, so I must start at the end like a Christian and work my way to the middle and then go back to the beginning. Check it out. According to Wikipedia, under Alexander the First of Macedon, under biography, listen closely, quote, Alexander came to the throne during the era of the kingdom's vassalage at the hands of the Achaemenid Persia. His daddy was a vassal, dating back to the time of his father, A the First, although Macedon retained a broad scope of autonomy. In 492 BC, it was made to a fully subordinate part of the Persian kingdom by Mardonius' campaign. At that time, Alexander, which was during Mardonius' campaign, which meant he was under full vassalage at this point. He was not a vassal. He was totally subordinate at this time. At that time, Alexander was on the monomal, which is, he was just a title, Macedonian throne. Alexander further acted as a representative of the Persian governor, Mardonius, during peace negotiations after the Persian defeat at the Battle of Salamis in 480 BC. In later events, Herodotus several times mentions Alexander as a man who is on Xerxes' side and follows the assigned task. From the time of Mardonius' conquest of Macedon, Alexander I is referred to as Hyparchos by Herodotus, meaning subordinate governor. Despite his cooperations with Persia, Alexander I frequently gave supplies and advice to the Greek city-states and warned them of Mardonius' plans before the Battle of Plataea in 479 BC. For example, Alexander warned the Greeks in Tempe to leave before the arrival of Xerxes' troops, as well as notified them of an alternate route into Thessaly through Upper Macedonia. Stop! So as you can plainly see, ascending to the throne in his vassalhood, by the time he became king, the Macedonians were, quote, fully subordinate part of the Persian kingdom, meaning the Macedonian kingdom was in the service / army against the Greeks. And from 498 BC all the way up until 479 BC, this Alexander was personally in full compliance with full confidence of 2 Persian kings and a governor. In fact, if you listen to Herodotus talk about the decisive Battle of Plataea in Wikipedia, it says, quote, Herodotus also recounts that King Alexander I of Macedonia, who was allied to the Persians and present in their camp, secretly rode to the Greek camp with warning that the Persians had decided to attack, which can only mean what we are about to read next is where the scholars start to amalgamate the 2 kings' feats together. And as you will soon read, this is how I know this is talking about the new and fresh Alexander, who had been living in Athens. Let's continue, please. Quote, after their defeat in Plataea, the Persian army under the command of A tried to retreat all the way back to Asia Minor. Most of the 43,000 survivors were attacked and killed by the forces of Alexander at the estuary of the Stymon River. Alexander eventually regained Macedonian independence after the end of the Persian War. Stop! Bingo! Did you catch it? Catch what you pondered? Question: how can this Alexander fight 2 battles for 2 different sides at the same darn time? The answer is, he can. Not only that, if this was talking about only one Alexander, that can only mean he double-crossed Xerxes and not only lived to tell and enjoy the tale, but nobody in Greece ever mentioned the fact that he double-crossed the Persian to become a Greek hero. I mean, when you look in Wikipedia under Macedonian Ancient Kingdom, under the history part, it says, quote, Alexander provided Macedonian military support to Xerxes during the Second Persian invasion of Greece, and Macedonian soldiers fought on the sides of the Persians at the 479 BC Battle of Plataea. Which, y'all want to tell me all of a sudden he done turned around, that same battle now, he done turned around and he done killed, no, give me a f***ing break. Here comes the amalgamation part. Although initially a Persian vassal, Alexander of Macedon fostered friendly diplomatic relations with his former Greek enemies, the Athenians and Spartan-led coalition of Greek city-state. Example, bingo, off the cuff first. Going back up. Hold on a second, I want to say this. I'm sorry, just hold up. Going back up, I've seen something. It escaped me. It has escaped me. After the defeat of Plataea, It has escaped me. Let's continue. I'm sorry. Example, bingo. Why bingo, you ponder? Well, it's for the knowledge that there's no way in Hades this Alexander double-crossed the Persians. Notice, not one mention of how Alexander somehow in some way switched sides. The reason? He didn't. It was the new and fresh Alexander out of Athens that did it. And if my theory is correct, hold on a second, population upgrades usually happen during some time of trouble, for cover. If I'm right about it, history should dictate life-changing trouble during or right after Alexander's reign. Check this out. According to Wikipedia, under Perdiccas II of Macedon, under background, this was Alexander's successor. Quote, after the death of Alexander in 454, Macedonia began to fall apart. Macedonian tribes became almost completely autonomous and were only loosely allied to the king. Example, bingo. What are the odds we have the perfect candidate for replacement, the perfect situation for replacement, and the matching MO previously used for population replacement, and it not be population replacement plan? And to prove it, remember when I said everybody knew Alexander wasn't real? He was new and fresh? Perceive this.